Welcome, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into, well, maybe the strangest legal filing I've personally come across. Haltom v. City of Henderson TN Police Department.
It's definitely out there.
Our goal is to kind of unpack this motion, trying to admit, get this, a Google Gemini Pro AI podcast as circumstantial evidence.
Right. And it's not about proving, who did what when. The plaintiff says it's an interpretive key
An interpretive key to what exactly?
to connect alleged modern constitutional violations to, well, what they're calling deep-seated affronts, stuff rooted in, quote, structural violence and a spiritual wickedness.
Wow. Okay. So not your typical legal argument. They're bringing in spirituality, cosmology almost.
Pretty much. It suggests the alleged violations aren't just mistakes, but part of a much bigger, older pattern.
Okay, so let's start where they start. The source material, 1 Samuel chapter 8, that seems foundational here.
Absolutely. That's the biblical story, right?
Yeah.
Where ancient Israel demands a human king. They want to be like all the nations.
And they're essentially rejecting God's direct rule.
Exactly. And God, speaking through Samuel, gives these stark warnings about what this human king will actually do.
The ways of the king, right. That phrase seems important in the filing.
It is. In Hebrew, it's mishpat. Samuel lays it out. This king will take. That's the key verb. Lakach sees. Appropriate.
Take what?
Sons for the army, daughters for service, the best fields, vineyards, olive groves.
Yeah.
Even servants. It culminates in the people becoming slaves, eaved, to this human system.
So the plaintiff is drawing a direct line from that ancient warning.
To today. They're arguing these alleged constitutional smears are a modern form of that same taking, an abuse of authority that happens when human power forgets or rejects, a higher accountability.
It's a powerful analogy. But how do they expect a court to, well, accept that? That's where the AI comes in.
That seems to be the idea. The AI podcast synthesizes this vast historical and theological material. It's presented not just as the plaintiff's opinion, but as, let's say, data-driven context showing this recurring pattern.
Okay, so if the problem is this ancient pattern of taking, what's the spiritual framework they're using to understand the corruption itself? That brings us to the Zohar.
Right, now we shift into Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. The Zohar talks about God removing kings and setting up kings.
Why? What's the purpose?
For the correction process of the world. The idea is that corrupt leaders, these pharaohs or bad kings acting not with the light, actually serve a purpose.
Which is?
To reveal what's broken. Their corruption highlights where society needs tikkun repair.
Tikkun olam, the repair of the world. So the lawsuit isn't just about seeking damages.
It seems not. It's framed more like initiating a spiritual correction process. Tikkun olam is this concept from Lurianic Kabbalah about gathering scattered divine sparks through righteous actions, repairing the fragmentation.
And they actually tried to operationalize this.
Incredibly directly, yeah. The filing mentions the plaintiff offered the Henderson Police Department a significant number of pocket Zohar books.
Pocket Zohars? Seriously?
Seriously. Call it a gift of light and seeds of Tikkun olam. It suggests they were looking for systemic spiritual change within the department first, maybe before pushing purely legal remedies.
That is quite something. Okay, so wrapping this up for the listener, what's the takeaway here? This AI podcast, whether it gets admitted or not.
Right. Its existence in the filing forces a different perspective. It argues these aren't just procedural slips or individual bad acts.
They're framed as profound spiritual issues, transgressions needing deep, almost cosmic rectification.
Exactly. And it leaves us with a pretty challenging thought based on something called the Zohar Task Force Debriefing Protocol, mentioned in relation to this.
Who did?
It says the real adversary isn't external, it's the internal self-love, the will to receive for oneself alone. That impulse is the root of corruption and power abuse.
So if this legal process is seen as part of that global correction,
then what does it mean for our modern institutions, police, courts, government, to genuinely confront their own collective will to receive? That innate tendency towards self-interest over service, that's the deeper question this unusual filing kind of throws at us.